Hello, 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 everybody. It is Hershey me, your girl, Miss Jennifer Pink. Just trying to get a little set up here. See how this works. So, for those of you that don't know, my name is Miss Jennifer Pink, and I'm known affectionately as the Single Mom Sage because of my unique mission to support single moms on their journey in moving from surviving to thriving. Yes, we can thrive. So, hey everybody! So first of all, I accepted a 30-day challenge. I posted about it yesterday, and I'm going to go live for 30 days. And I asked you what you wanted me to talk about. These girls are just doing crazy things today, huh? Oh well. I asked you what you wanted me to go live about, but then last night I came across this article. And then there was all these conversations about it. And I'm going to briefly talk about the article, but what caught my attention the most was really the ideology and the thinking of the women who were responding. Hey! So first, let me tell you about the article. And the article is that there's this woman who apparently is not with the father anymore. Their baby is 6 months old. And she told the courts that she couldn't. She's exclusively breastfeeding. I remind you of your daughter. I hope that's a great thing. But she told the courts that she couldn't pump enough for her baby to have overnight visits with the dad. It wasn't really clear on whether or not she pumps at all, whether or not she works outside the home. It just wasn't really clear about any of those other things. But all these, now I have exclusively breastfed 3 babies. My oldest is 12 years old. Oh, thank you. So I know the bond when you breastfeed a baby. I know what that bond is. I know breast is best. Everybody can't breastfeed though, and this is not a shame on anybody that can't or doesn't choose to. But here's what I saw. And what I saw was I saw women who, of course, breastfeed saying, the mother was more important. The bond between the baby and the mother was more important than the father. Babies need their mother more. And as much as I understand that thought process, because we are the providers of life for babies, right? As you know, we birth them, we breastfeed them, so we're their first source of nutrition. As much as I understand that thought process, let me help you understand what you're really saying. What you're really saying is the mother is most important and the mother is what is needed. So then you're already telling a man that he's not what's needed and he's not what's most important. Now, women who are married or live with the father or he's still involved, they're constantly talking about how, frustrating it is that the father can't nurse or the father doesn't get up with every feeding or, different things of that nature. Like, that's common. You hear that a lot, right? But you're telling men that they're not as important. They're not as needed. Their bonding is not what's needed right now because this baby needs to breastfeed. So that to me is the bigger problem. Because let's be honest, if you had to go to work, if you had to have some life-threatening surgery, if you had to be away from your baby, you would find some formula, you would find some donor milk, you would find something to give your baby to eat. So what's the difference between the baby bonding with the father? And this is what we're not understanding. The father, the bond that the child has with the father is more important than going to work, more important than surgery, more important than taking me time away from your baby for a couple of hours. It's more important. And here's what I think we as women, because we are mothers and we have the children, and let's just be honest, there's a lot more single mothers than single fathers. So a lot of what we say and don't say to our children has a lot to do with the choices that they make when they become older, right? And I explained to this, I was trying to explain to this one woman, and I was telling her, when we say you're not as important, You're not needed right now. I'm what's needed. My bond is more important. We are basically telling them to become absent fathers. We're telling them to become deadbeat dads. We're telling them to walk away. That's what we're doing. And so this woman was like, well, no, if a man walks away from his child, that's his choice. Let's just keep it real, people. All your choices in life, every choice you've made in your life is based on what you've been taught or haven't been taught, how you grew up, what you've been exposed to. Some people want to cruise and travel the world because that's what they've been exposed to, or they've seen it and they thought it was really interesting or cool. Some people are definitely afraid of leaving the land, right? Because that's what they've been exposed to. You didn't just make a decision all on your own. We're unique creatures, but ain't nothing new under the sun. So your decisions, your choices in life are a direct reflection of what you have or have not been taught. Yes, we grow and we, learn more and we make better decisions or worse decisions. Some people, they get worse in life. But the point is that all those choices and decisions are based on something that has been embedded in you. So think about this for a second. Think about having a woman, having a boy, a son, and she's constantly telling him that a boy is not as important as a girl when it comes to building a family, when it comes to raising a child. Now, whether or not she says it directly to that boy or whether or not she just does it in her actions. Think about all the times she says to her son, you don't need no daddy. We don't need no man. I got this. I can take care of us. I can raise you to be a man by myself. Think of that, what that is telling that little boy who one day is going to grow up to become a man. She is indoctrinating him with, it's okay if you don't become a man that stands up and takes care of his family. It's okay if you're not super involved in raising your children. It's okay if you walk away, because guess what? The mother is most important and she's what's mainly needed, and she can do this all by herself. See, we never think about it all the way through that way. We don't realize that when we say certain things or when we do certain things, our actions affect our children from a very young age. And then they grow up and they make these choices and we're like, how could they make these choices? What were you feeding them? What were you teaching them? Women, do you know that there are so many women who are single mothers because they were never taught the importance of a complete family? They were never taught to build a relationship before having sex and then having a baby. They were never taught the importance of a man in a baby's life. They weren't taught those things, so they don't value those things, so they don't seek those things. They don't care. It doesn't matter to them. And I'm not saying that all single mothers have that thought process. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to pay attention to what we are feeding into our children, especially from the beginning. I have 3 kids and I was I was married with one of them, but a different story. I was a single mother with 3 kids, and I never once felt like the father was unimportant. He didn't need to be involved. I remember my heart breaking because he wasn't there, especially when he wasn't there when I gave birth. Like, I felt like that was supposed to be his first moment with this baby, right? And he missed it. Like, he wasn't there. Like, oh my gosh. I'm now married and we're about to have another baby Tuesday at the latest for all those keeping track. But we're about to have another baby, and living with a man and being committed and devoted and in love with a man and having this baby, it's a completely different experience for me. Just it's like hearing him say, this is his baby. Hearing him tell me about how I can go to sleep because he's going to be up all night because this is his baby. This is his daughter. Hearing him just have such a strong affection and love for this child that he's not carrying. He doesn't get to feel all her movements. He doesn't get to feel the heartburn. He doesn't get to feel the contractions. right? All the things that I am forced to feel because she's inside of me. He doesn't get to feel those things. He doesn't get that. But he still has that out of this world emotional connection to this baby. Literally, when he touches my stomach, my baby stops. Or if she's on one side, she will, roll over to his side to be close to him. She knows his voice. She's very aware of who he is. Sometimes I'm a little jealous and she's still in the womb, right? But that bond and that connection is just as important as the bond and connection that I'm creating with this baby. When this baby comes out, yes, I'm going to breastfeed because that's what I choose to do. That's what I've done. I believe breast is best, and I'm going to breastfeed. I'm not a big pumper just because can we keep it real for a second? I'm lazy. And I'm not about that life. Even, with my other kids and I had to go to work. Yeah, pumping really wasn't something I really wanted to do. So the chances of me pumping now are small. But guess what? I'm a stay-at-home mom now, or stay-at-home entrepreneur. So I cannot pump and it'd be okay. Will I maybe eventually pump? Sure. Because you never know, right? But I would never tell my husband, tell my child's father that your bond is not as important as my bond. This baby needs me more than it needs you. What? This baby needs both of us. This baby needs both of us from day one. This baby needs something from you that I can't give it and something from me that you can't give it. And that's the mentality we all need to have as men and women. That's what we need to pass on to our children. That mentality. I guarantee you, if we start teaching and preaching and embedding that mentality, things will change. Our family structures will change. The increase of single mothers and single fathers will change. The dynamic will change because we will have a different mindset going into it. See, I guarantee you, a lot of men do not have that mindset. And it's not because they're bad men. It's not because, they don't care about their children. It's because of what they've been taught, what they watched, what they witnessed. They witnessed women taking babies from them and going, oh, you don't know how to do it. Let me do it. Oh, you can't change the diaper because you don't know what you're doing. Let me do it. Oh, you're feeding the baby wrong. Oh, you're burping the baby wrong. I've watched generationally women in my own family, women that I've been surrounded by, right? When we see a man, like literally, if we see a man walking down the street carrying a baby in one of the baby carriers, we're like shocked, right? Like we're in awe. We're like, oh my gosh, he's an amazing father. But why is that not the normal? Because we don't allow that to be the normal. We don't teach that that's the normal. So you can't be mad when men don't feel as though their value is as important, when they don't feel as though they have to step up and be equal, when that's not what they've been taught. There are men, countless men, generations of men that believe if I pay the bills, that's good enough. If I send in my child support check, that's good enough. And I'm not downing those men, and I'm not here to say like you're just bad. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to help us women understand that what we teach our sons, what we teach the boys around us, they're going to grow up and they're going to become men who are then going to translate what we've taught them into how to be fathers, how to be husbands, how to be boyfriends. Same thing with our daughters. What we show them and teach them, it translates into what they do when they get older. I have daughters and sons, and I listen to, now that we're having this baby, I've listened to my daughter tell my sons, oh, you can't hold the baby. Like, no, only I can't. Wait, what? Why can't he? Well, he's not big enough. Yes, he is. You held the baby when you were 3 and I was having the next baby. You held the baby, so why can't he? Am I gonna let my 4-year-old, 5-year-old walk up and down the stairs with the baby? No, that just doesn't make sense. But I'm going to allow my son to be just as involved as I'm going to allow my daughter. If I'm gonna let her change a diaper, I'm gonna let him change a diaper. Am I going to have to help him more because he's younger and he needs a better understanding? Of course. But we have to understand that when we limit our sons' involvement, when we teach our sons that they don't need to be as involved, when we teach our sons that this is woman work, when we teach our sons that the bond between mother and baby is what's most important, guess what we're doing? We're creating men who think that same way. We're creating men who are not as involved. We're creating men who become absent fathers, deadbeat dads, who maybe just pay child support. Women. And I'm not holding any grown woman accountable for a grown man that she meets. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But I'm asking you to have an understanding. I'm asking you to expand your thought process beyond how you feel and understand that a lot of what we're experiencing is a lack of what was taught. If that boy grew up with a mother who constantly told him, I don't need a man is not important in raising a family. It doesn't matter if we have a man in this household. It doesn't matter if your father is involved. Your father ain't shit. If that is what that child was constantly fed and told, guess what happens when they become a father? You repeat the cycle. We've got to start understanding and get out of our feelings, right? It's time to get out of your feelings. I get it. I've been hurt too. And I've wanted to say, boop, F all men, y'all ain't ish, y'all ain't doing nothing. I done had to raise these babies by myself. I wanted to be there with you, but I understood what that was going to do to my children. And I needed my children to be better than what I was experiencing. I need my sons to grow up and want a complete family, want to get married before they have children. I need my children to be more concerned with their relationship and the structure and the building before they get concerned with doing the do and making babies. That's what I need. I can't wait till you come back. Yes, Keenan, we will definitely sit down and do this, do the documentary. But we've got to pay attention to what we are teaching our children, because they're going to grow up and be the next generation. See, I understand a lot of people like to say, oh, well, you know, everybody makes their own choices. Everybody makes their own decisions. And that's true. But when you have a generation of people making the same choices and decisions, that has something more to do with the teaching or what's not being taught than it has to do with somebody just being special and crazy. It has a lot to do with what we are or not teaching. We have walked away from teaching family. We have walked away. Ooh. Okay. We have walked away from teaching the importance of building a family. We have walked away from raising future wives, future husbands, future fathers, future mothers. We've walked away from that. And what is the result? The result is what we have right now. A whole generation of single parents, a whole generation of co-parenting, a whole generation of angry, bitter, I can do it by myself, I don't need help. This is what we've created. And this is why I'm so passionate about the importance of teaching our children something different. Not because I think that single mothers are bad. I was one. Not because I think that all single mothers' children are doomed for failure and, you know, they're just going to be stupid and in prison, which is what the statistics try to say. No, but because I'm watching generation after generation not only repeat the cycle, but it get worse. We're experiencing, you know, there's my generation and the one above me who were single mothers, but we weren't the norm. Or mine's is the norm, but, you know, my mom's maybe wasn't the norm. And now the generation after me, marriage, why would I do that? Oh, we don't have to be together? I love my baby. I got my baby. I can handle this all by myself. See, that mindset, that's the problem. And that mindset wasn't just created just because they woke up in this morning. That mindset came from what they were or were not taught as children. So I just encourage every woman and every man right now who has young children around them to really pay attention to what you are feeding them, intentionally and unintentionally. Pay attention to the words you are giving them. Pay attention to how much involvement they see of a father and how much involvement they see of a mother. Pay attention to those things, because I guarantee you those are the things that make a difference when they get grown. Those are the things that change whether or not they are a super active parent or a deadbeat parent. What they get when they're babies, what they get when they're children. So that's just really what I wanted to share with you guys today. It was deeply on my heart because I just saw so many women feeling as though, and actually saying in words, that their bond with the infant was more important than a father's. And we've got to change that mentality. We've got to understand the bond is equal. It is equally important. Mothers and fathers are both needed from day one. Not day 10, not day 2 years, but day one. They are equally important and equally needed. And we both got to do whatever it takes to make sure we're cultivating that and we're allowing that to happen. So, of course, if this video resonated with you on any level, I ask that you please share, because sharing is caring. And as always, it is your girl, Miss Jennifer Pink, known affectionately as the Single Mom Sage, because of my unique mission to support single moms on their journey and moving from surviving to thriving. Catch me every day in the month of September going live, talking about family, single momhood, raising babies, all that great stuff. If you have anything you want me to talk about, feel free to inbox me or comment with whatever you'd like me to talk about. The only day I probably will not be live is the day we actually go into labor. So other than that, I will be here for the next 30 days, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you decided to tune in with me today. Until next time.